Caitvi ex-listener season 1 full movie enjoyed 2 hours and 40 minutes of uninterrupted ASMR stories. Episode 1 Injured Stranger. Again, I would like to quote this by saying this is a fan series of a fan series, originally written by Susu Stories. The original episodes of each episode will be linked in the description below. Please go and pay credits to Susu Stories. You barely escape a fight in the Undercity. You can't exactly remember what it was about, but right now, it doesn't seem to matter. Because you are barely hanging on to life itself as you stumble over the bridge between Piltover and Zorn, gripping your side tightly, breath heavy and your chest heaving. You start to lose your balance, holding on to the railing of the bridge tightly, before you finally topple over onto the cold, hard stone, and your eyes start to close. The sound of heavy footsteps, fast-paced and full of desperation, meet your ears. As the sound slows, you feel 2 warm hands on your shoulders. Open your eyes. Keep them open. It was a woman's voice, soft and gentle. She has a thick British accent. Your eyes do eventually flicker open, and you see a woman next to you. Long blue hair, wearing a neat navy blue jacket. An enforcer, you thought. What happened? She asked, a serious expression on her face, but still tinged with concern. Why do you care? Why don't you just leave me for dead like the rest of us? You blurt out in a strained voice. The woman looked shocked, but didn't waver. Because I'm not like that, and you're hurt. You hesitate, rolling your eyes. I mean, it's not like you had much of a choice. A fight? You start, concentrating hard. I don't remember much. I think I hit my head, you add. Her face softens as you explain to her. So, adding a concussion to the list of injuries. You laugh bitterly. What's your name? She asked. It doesn't matter what my name is, you protest slightly. It matters to me, she replies, as she inspects the nasty cut on your side. You sigh, not liking this one bit. Wyan. She smiles as you open up to her just a little bit more, finally getting somewhere. My name is Caityln, she responds. She gently props you up against the side of the bridge, putting on a clean bandage over the worst of your injuries. Are you able to walk? She inquires. I got this far, didn't I? You respond weakly. I guess you did. She smiles back at you as she helps lift you to your feet, pulling your arm over her shoulders while supporting your waist. Where are we going? Your voice quiet. My home. You need to rest. Me and my partner will take care of you. After what felt like an eternity of walking, you reached her apartment. She leads you into her guest bedroom, laying you on the bed, as a woman with pink hair walks in. Who is this? What's going on? She asks, turning to Caityln. Vi, this is Wyan. Wyan, this is my partner Vi. I found them injured on the bridge, a large laceration on their side. It wasn't safe out there, so I brought them here. Vi nods, understanding. She extends a hand to you, shaking your hand firmly. The name's Vi. We'll keep you safe. Caityln steps toward the door before adding, Stay here for as long as you need to heal. She leaves the room. Where are you from? Vi asks. The Undercity. You respond. She nods, putting 2 and 2 together in her head. Same here, she adds, hoping to give you someone to relate to. Caityln walks back in the room, placing a glass on the bedside table. You should get some sleep. You need to rest. If you need anything in the morning, do not hesitate to ask. And it didn't take for long to your eyes to flutter shut. You were so exhausted with their steady presence beside you. You realize you would be okay. They saved you, and for that you would be forever grateful. They cared. They understood. A feeling you didn't get much. But with Caityln and Vi, you knew you'd be okay. And that was enough. Episode 2. You have Hanahaki.
햇살이 너무 좋았어. 그냥 모두 좋아.
It had been 2 months since Caityln and Vi had saved you from the Undercity. And once you had healed up, they made it clear to you that they wanted to see you again, making sure to put both their contacts into your phone. And you realized you wanted to see them again too. As you sit on the sofa of their shared apartment, waiting for them to get back, your duffel bag of hair supplies next to you. It had been a busy shift at the salon, and you were looking forward to their warm presence. A cold, chesty cough racked your chest as you looked down into your hands, now covered in blood and petals. You realized yet again that sharing what they had was not going to happen. Your love for them being your own undoing. The door swings open, and without missing a beat, Caityln sits beside you. She rests an arm around your shoulders. She looks over at you, and then down at your hands, covered in blood and petals. Wyan, you have Hanahaki? Talk to us. What's happening? Who is it? She questions. It's nothing. This is my problem, you say. Hanahaki? Vi repeats the word, not understanding. Kate turns to Vi. It's a medical condition, only occurring when one loves another but doesn't receive that love in return, resulting in coughing up petals and blood. Shit, Vi mutters under her breath, moving your bag and slumping down beside you. Wyan, you know you can talk to us, because that doesn't sound like nothing to me. You sit there for a moment. No, it's fine, Vi. This is my problem. I fell in love and they don't like me back. It's that simple. There's not much that can be done about that, you say. Oh, really? Who is it? Have you even told them? I mean, she starts before you cut her off. No, they're in a relationship already, both of them. I can't get in the way of that. Vi and Caityln look at each other, knowingly, and leave the room for a moment. Do you think... Caityln starts. Yeah, I do, and I don't like it. I'm just shocked they don't know we like them. How do we go about it? Without just assuming. Caitlin thinks for a moment. Just like we always do, we tell them how we feel and we hope we're right. And if we are, we don't have to worry about them being sick anymore. And if we're not, then we'll go from there, Caitlin says. When they re-enter the room, sitting back beside you, both their arms over your shoulders yet again. YN, these people, do we know them? Caitlin asks. Your eyes widen. They know. How? Damn it! You said too much. You gave yourself away. You don't respond. Thought as much. Vi adds, seeing the look on your face. YN, you should know, no matter who it is, we love you. Both me and Vi. Caitlin adds, as Vi nods. Yup, we love you, and that's all there is to it. I mean, hoping we are reading it right, but yes, we do. We have since we met you, YN, and honestly, I'm surprised you didn't get that. You don't say anything. You know they got you hook, line, and sinker. They had a way of reading you. Too well, in fact. But that was a good thing. They love you, just as you love them. But it still hasn't quite sunk in yet. Just the shock of their words washing over you like a tidal wave. Caitlin looks at you smiling. They were right. It was them. And she was happy knowing it wasn't someone else. And that you were going to be okay. Now that they finally know the truth of it. She pulls you into a tight embrace. You've always been a part of this, YN. We want you with us. Vi says, joining in the hug, holding you and Kate tight. You feel their warmth against you, a tear rolling down your face. I'm sorry for not telling you. I just didn't want to get in the way. Your voice trembles. You could never get in the way, YN. Never. Caitlin responds, and Vi ruffles your hair. As they sit there with you, holding you through your tears and relief, everything feels right in the world. This was the first time you had hid something from them. But it most certainly won't be the last, as you'd be hanging around with them for a very long time after this. Episode 3. They Meet Your Abusive Father, Part 1. You sit at the kitchen table of your small home, rubbing at the throbbing pain in your arm. Your father had lashed out. Again. It was stupid, really. You'd only forgotten to take out the rubbish. But your dad wasn't too pleased about it. Yelling about, "This rubbish better be outside by the time I'm back." Yelling names like lazy, irresponsible, failure. With your dad, the word forgot doesn't seem to exist. But that, he wasn't just angry, he was drunk. And you were happy he wasn't home. The bruise already forming on your arm. The door knocks. "Come in!" You shout as the door opens. It was Vi and Caitlin. They step through the door. "Hey there, sweetheart. We brought food," Vi says, putting the takeout bag on the table, and she leans down to plant a kiss to your temple. She spots the growing bruises on your arm, and she can sense the tension in your posture. "Kate, come here," she says, gesturing to your arm. Caityln looks over at you, noticing the same thing. "Love, what happened? Are you okay?" Caityln says, with a worried tone in her voice. Yeah, I'm fine. I just caught myself on the counter. That's all." You pull your sleeve down. Vi wasn't buying it. "No, what really happened? You know you can tell us. And you're not the best liar out there, sweetheart." She wasn't wrong. "It's my dad. He got angry, that's all." Caityln looked pissed. "That's all? What do you mean that's all?" Her voice raised slightly, but not in anger. In fact, she was more concerned that you saw him hurting you as "that's all" or normal. Vi, however, was fuming. "YN, your family should not be hurting you at all, at all. What happened?" She was furious as she spoke, ready to find the guy and punch his guts out. "I forgot to take out the bins," you said, standing up, walking over to the window and looking out at the Undercity. Caityln followed you, pulling her arms around your waist, resting her head on your shoulder. "That's no excuse for hurting you, YN." You felt her warmth and the soft tone in her voice. As you let her hold you. "I'll handle it." Vi's voice thunders. Caityln lets go of you to grab hold of Vi's arm, shaking her head. Your breath going shallow. You start to shake. If she goes after him now, it will make everything worse. And it showed. "We can't risk YN's safety, Vi." Caityln's voice was firm. Vi sighed as she joined you and Kate by the window, turning you slightly, cupping your face in her hands before pulling you into a tight hug. The door opens again and your dad walks in. "YN, who are these people?" You turn to face him. They're just friends," you respond. "I didn't say you can invite people over. I want them gone by the time I get back. I need a word with you, YN." And he walked out the door once more. Vi was about to go at him for hurting you, but Caityln put a hand on her shoulder and stopped her. "We can't make things worse, Vi." "Look at them." Vi turns to look at you as Caityln speaks. You were practically shaking. She walks over to you, wrapping you tightly in her arms. "Why don't you spend the night with us, babe? Take some time to recover." Vi speaks softly into your ear, her hand rubbing up and down your back, grounding you. You step back. I can't. I want to, but I can't," you say with a shaky breath. "It's not safe. He'll be back soon and..." You start, but then, "Are you sure, love? You know we're here to help you." You nod. Vi looks reluctant to let go of you. She wants to keep you safe, but she knows to trust in your judgment. And so does Kate. So, Vi loosens her grip on you and plants a kiss on your forehead, followed by Kate. "If anything goes wrong, you know where to find us," Caityln speaks as she pulls out a snap-activated ice pack. She activates it and puts it on the bruise before backing away. "Be safe." And you give them one last hug before you show them out. Once they had left, You sit back down at the kitchen table, holding the ice pack to your arm, just as Caityln had asked you to. Holding the bridge of your nose in your free hand. You had only wished you went with them. Episode 4. They Meet Your Abusive Father, Part 2, Final Part. It's a cold night in Piltover. The streets desolate and empty in the cold evening air. It was only a few hours ago Vi and Caityln had visited you and found out the abuse your father had put you through just before he kicked them out of his house. He had a little chat with you that same afternoon. He shoved a black duffel bag filled with your clothes towards your chest and told you, "You're not welcome here anymore. That ended the day your mother died. I want you out. Now." He told you firmly. You had asked why, and he gave you the answer. "Because you're a mistake, YN," he shouted, slapping you hard on the cheek. "Now out!" His voice boomed. And that was that. You had nowhere to go. The cold brushed against your sore cheek as you reached the apartment complex that Kate and Vi live in. You don't even think you should be there, especially after you declined their offer to stay that night a few hours before. But now you have no choice. It's either this or the streets. You head up the stairs to floor 3, apartment 16, and you knock. At first, there was no sound at all, but eventually the door opens, and Caityln appears. She takes one long look at your tear-streaked face and the red mark on your cheek, the bag slumped over your shoulder. She doesn't say anything. Instead, she walks over to you, putting a hand on your back, guiding you inside. Once inside, she takes your bag and places it on the floor next to the door. Once again, hand on your back, guiding you over to the sofa, sitting you down. "Wait here, sweetheart. I'll go wake Vi, and then we'll talk about what happened all together, okay?" You nod as Caityln goes to wake Vi. A few moments later, Vi walks in, worry a prominent feature on her face. She and Caityln sits on either side of you, and Vi wastes no time in pulling you close to her, you tightly in her embrace. She rubs soothing motions on your arm as Caityln starts the conversation. "What happened, YN? Did he hit you again?" she asked you directly. You nod. He... You start, but your breath catches. "It's all right. Take your time, sweetheart," Vi says, kissing the top of your head. You take in a deep breath. He kicked me out." Your head drops as you stare at your knees. There was silence. Vi looks furious. She looks at Caityln as she stands up, a silent way of saying, "I'll be back in a sec. Take care of them." Caityln looks worried before she realizes that Vi had grabbed your bag and had taken it into their room. Caityln stays by your side, holding you through your tears and wiping the loose hairs away from your eyes. It's going to be okay, sweetheart. We've got you, Caityln says, rubbing your back gently as you continue to cry in her arms. She pulls you closer, holding you tight, your tears now muffled by Caityln's shoulder. I know it hurts, love, but you're okay. You're safe now, with us. She pulls away slightly, enough to look into your eyes, wiping a tear from your cheek. The bedroom door opens and Vi peeks her head out. Bring them in, Vi says. And Caityln does exactly that. Holding your hand in hers, she guides you into their bedroom. Vi walked over to you. I want you to remember you have a home here. With us, YN. This is your home too. It always has been. Vi opens the middle drawer, with all your clothes that were in a duffel bag moments ago, were all folded neatly inside. You go to speak, but before you could, Vi shows you over to the bed, now with 3 sets of pillows and a fresh set of PJs, neatly folded on the middle pillow. You were left speechless on how quickly Vi pulled this together, and how Caityln and Vi did not hesitate to move you in with them right that second. Your eyes start to water again, but this time, it wasn't because you didn't have a home. It was because you were being welcomed into one, with open arms, with the people you loved the most. And you smile slightly. Caityln and Vi instantly wrapping you in a warm and tight embrace. Welcome home, sweetheart, Caityln says gently. About 3 hours later, you'd all changed into your PJs and settled down on the sofa with hot drinks talking about the events of earlier. As you recount what happened with your father, they listen intently, and eventually the conversation shifted to happier topics. And when it was time for bed, you all settled down beside each other. For your first night, all living under the same roof. Episode 5. Caityln is injured on a mission. You sit in the apartment after a long day's work at the salon, your kit bag thrown onto the table. You spread out on the sofa, your body relaxing and your feet ache after standing up all day, and it was relaxing, but only for a brief moment as the door behind you slams open. You jump, startled by the loud bang of the door hitting the wall. You stand to see what had gone on, and when you turn around, you see Vi cradling Caityln in her arms, your eyes widening in shock when you see the blood seeping from Caityln's side. What happened? You panicked. Ambush, Vi said bluntly. Put her on the sofa, you instructed. Vi did exactly that as you rushed to grab the first aid kit from the kitchen cupboard. Eyes open, Cupcake. That's it, you hear in the background. When you return with the first aid box in hand, Vi had already unbuttoned Caityln's jacket. Can you help me lift her shirt up? You ask. Of course. Yeah, of course. Caityln winced at the movement as you both gently lifted her shirt up. I have to clean this, Kate. It's gonna sting. you say gently, wiping a stray hair out of her face. Do what you have to, she says. As you clean the wound, Vi watched your every movement, holding on to Caitlyn's hand tightly. That's it. We're almost done, you reassure her as you add some cream to around the edges of the wound to help ease the pain. And then when wrapping it in a bandage... What was that cream? Vi asked. It's a numbing cream to help ease the pain. Not directly on the cut, just around the edges. It should kick in around 30 minutes from now, you informed her. Caitlyn looks at you, a slight smile. Thank you, sweetheart, she says, smiling at the fact that you considered even the smallest details to help her in the long run. You put a hand on her shoulder, rubbing your thumb gently over it. It's the least I can do. You smile at her, and then Caitlyn turns to Vi. And you too, Vi, for getting me out of there. Vi just smiled at her. We're a team. We stick together. Caitlyn goes to sit up, but you put your hand on her shoulder again. Oh, no you don't. You're resting. You say firmly. I have work to do. Reports to write. Vi, also having none of it, takes her hand. You're a workaholic, you know that? It can wait, Cupcake. You need to heal. Caitlyn sighed. You're not going to let this go, are you? She gave you and Vi a resigned look. Nope, you say in a light-hearted voice. Nuh-uh, Vi added, as she scooped Caitlyn up in her arms. Vi? Caitlyn warned. I'm getting you to bed, Vi said firmly. You two are impossible, Caitlyn said, slightly annoyed. Yeah, but you love us for it. She rolled her eyes at that. You're not wrong. And as Vi took Kate to bed, you went to the kitchen once more, boiling the kettle. And after about 5 minutes, the tea was made. You put 3 cups onto a tray with some biscuits and walked into the bedroom. There you are, Vi chirped. You place a tray down on the bed next to Caitlyn as you pass both her and Vi a cup each. Vi and Caitlyn look at each other with smiles on their faces, and then to you as you clink your cups together. So, Vi said in a long-winded way. How was your day, sweetheart? Vi perked in interest. You took a moment to think. Caitlyn getting injured? And a deadly mission? Didn't seem as much of an adventure compared to your sorry excuse of a rude Karen of a client. But Caitlyn's head turned to you, also seemingly interested in what your day working at the salon was like. So you tell them the story. Well, it was interesting. It all started when this rude... And as you exchange stories of each of your days, the earlier events seem smaller now. Just chatting away in your shared apartment, drinking tea while talking about the eventful work days, was the most relaxed things have been for a while. And with Caitlyn off her feet for a while, you'll have plenty more chances, just like this one. Episode 6. They are being clingy. You walk through the the door of your shared apartment, immediately dropping your bags onto the floor and throwing your jacket, or should I say Vi's jacket, onto the coat rack. You sigh. I'm home, you call out, exhausted from a long day's work. Vi immediately ran up to you, nuzzling her head into the crook of your neck, wrapping her arms around you tightly. Hey, babe. Her voice was muffled by your shoulder, but still audible. You lean into her embrace. Caityln comes out of the bedroom and joins a tangle of limbs you all become in that moment. Did you miss me today by chance? You ask with a teasing tone in your voice. What took you so long? Vi pulled her head up from your shoulder, looking into your eyes. What Vi is trying to say is, yes, we missed you. Caityln placed her forehead against yours. I said what I said, Vi corrected, as you laughed slightly. As much as I love your hugs, can I at least get out of these hair-covered clothes first and into my comfies? Of course, love, Caityln said, pouting as she lets go of you, and Vi reluctantly does the same. A few minutes later, you come out of the bedroom, sporting a pair of grey joggers and Caitlyn's black turtleneck that you forgot to return to her last week. You sit lazily on the sofa, and Vi and Caityln instantly nestle into your side. You kiss them both on the tops of their heads, your arms draped over their shoulders. Caityln smiles at you. I was wondering where that was, Caityln said in an amused tone. It smells like you, you said, blushing. Does it now? She smirks at you. Hey, how come you don't steal my clothes? Vi huffed in mock offence. Not true, I wore your pit fighter jacket to work today, and every day before that. Vi's eyes sparkle. You were always up before them on a work day and always left early. Vi must have been too drowsy to notice. So that's why I couldn't find it this morning. It keeps me warm, you reply smugly. That ratty old jacket needs to go. It's falling apart, Caityln says, rolling her eyes. It's not. It still has a good year left in it, Vi pouts. Babe, help me out here. Vi nudges you. One person's rubbish is another person's treasure. Caityln just sighed. You spent the next few minutes just sat in each other's warmth, and when you tried to get up, they both pulled you back down. Am I not allowed to make myself a coffee? You smirk at them, raising an eyebrow. Nope, you're stuck with us for the rest of the day, Vi says, holding you firmly. I'll make it. I don't think Vi is thinking of letting go anytime soon. She gets up and walks into the kitchen. Damn right, Cupcake, Vi confirms. Thanks, Kate, you say warmly, and she gives you a smile. Your muscles relaxing, dropping your head onto Vi's shoulder as she looks at you and holds you. Your arms wrapping around her side as you sink into her warmth. You can feel her heartbeat, slow and steady. Da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. She hums a content sound as Caityln walks back in with coffee and places it down on the table in front of you and Vi. She looks down at you both, smiling when she sits back down with you again. She picks your head up from Vi's shoulder and plants a kiss to your forehead. Gentle, soothing. You return her gesture, but this one directly on the lips. Then you turn to Vi, gently placing a kiss to the tip of her nose. She laughs. Cute, she teases. And for what felt like the millionth time today, you found yourself blushing as you lean back into the sofa, your head resting on the cushion. Vi wraps her arms around your shoulders again, and Caityln places a gentle hand on your thigh, rubbing her thumb against your leg. They had been extra loving today, and you didn't understand why exactly, though it's not like you needed to know. All that matters right now is spending quality time with the ones you love. Episode 7, They See Someone Spike Your Drink, YouTube's personal favourite. You are at the bar, waiting on Caityln and Vi to get off of work. It is date night after all, and it was your turn to pick a place. Vi had agreed on the idea of a nice night out at the bar, but Caityln was skeptical, and it didn't take long for her to be proven right. As a tall bloke came walking up to you. "What's a young person like yourself doing by the bar all alone?" The man said. "I'm not by myself. I have a date," you say firmly. "Oh, really? I don't see him." The man gestures around the bar. "Nice of you to assume that I'm into men." You glared at him, before you turn away, waving the bartender over and ordering your usual. Just a gin and tonic. The man, still beside you, looks at your drink. "Why don't you let me pay for that, doll?" he says, leaning over you. No thanks," you said, pushing him away. "Hey, get the hell away from them now," a voice booms, no mistake of who it is. It's Vi. As a man turns to look at her, you stand up off of the bar stool and go to join Vi. But the man is quick to stop you, putting his hand on your chest. "Get your hands off of them," she shouts, readying her stance to fight. "Oh yeah? What are you gonna do about it?" he says smugly. You hear the sound of a gun being loaded, and you look over the man's shoulder to see Caityln pointing a gun directly at him. He freezes. "Darling, come here," Caityln says gently. You walk over to her. "Get behind us," Vi instructs, and you follow her instructions. "Calm now, no need for this to get ugly," the man says as the voice shakes. But it was already too late. Vi had stepped forward and landed a punch to the side of the man's face. He falls to the ground but scrambles to his feet quickly, making a run for it. Vi goes to run after him, but Caityln stops her, putting a hand on her shoulder. She sighs, but then she turns to you, your body trembling slightly. "You okay, babe?" she asks, concern filling her voice. I'm fine." Caityln walks up to you, wrapping her arms around you tightly and pulling you close. "No, you're not," she says bluntly. Vi takes your hand in hers. "Let's get out of here. Get some fresh air, yeah?" You hesitate. "But what about date night? It was supposed to be a relaxing evening," you ask. "How about you watching a movie at the apartment?" Caityln suggests, and you nod. And so, Caityln and Vi lead you out of the bar, locking an arm around you each. And when you got back home and into your comfortable clothes, you all snuggle under a blanket on the sofa with hot chocolate and popcorn, watching a movie. About 30 minutes in, you start to feel sleepy. So you rest your head against Caityln's lap, and her hand goes to rest on your forehead. You and Caityln hear a slight sniffling sound in the background. "Are you crying? Caityln teases. I'm not crying, you're crying, shut up, she says, eyes locked on the movie. You giggle, reaching your hand into your pocket and reaching out for a pack of tissues. A tissue for your issue? You say cheekily. She takes the tissues and wipes at her eyes. Could you blame me? Like, she died in his arms, Vi exclaims. It is a sad film. That's why you watch it together like this. You gently tug on Vi's arm, a slight way of saying, cuddle in. And she does that exact thing, lying down, resting her head on your lap, and interlocking her fingers in with yours. You're such a softie, Caityln teases. Am not, Vi protests. She's like a sleepy puppy. You join in. Vi just huffs, but holds your hand tighter, and Caityln giggles, pulling you both closer on her lap. And as the night went on, the tension for the events at an attempted night out slowly faded, encased in their love, affection, and warmth. As the movie ended, you and Vi sat up and helped Caityln to her feet, practically dragging her into the bedroom. You close the door and throw the covers over all of you, settling down for the rest of the evening, drifting off to a peaceful night's sleep. Episode 8. You Dutch braid Caityln's hair. It is a quiet, sunny morning in Piltover. Vi is still sleeping soundly, like always on a day off. She could sleep for days if she really wanted to. Caityln, however, is sat on the sofa, reading a book. You sit beside her, partly zoned out, an arm over her shoulder, and your fingers find their way into her hair. She hums slightly at the contact before she looks at you. You look content, she says, putting her book down and bringing an arm around your waist. Yeah, you sigh in a relaxed manner. She pulls you closer to her side. You think for a moment. Can I do something with your hair? She looks at you for a second. What do you have in mind? Caityln asks, inquisitively. Dutch braid? She smiles at you. Of course, sweetheart, she says. Your face lights up as you get up to get what you need. Caityln takes her hair out of the ponytail it is in. If she is being honest, she loves it when you do her hair. And she knows that you're passionate about your job as a hairdresser. You've even done Vi's hair before. Though she does not stop fidgeting. When you had got your combs ready and your pot of hair ties put onto the side, you put some music on your phone and set it aside. You start brushing the hair from the ends right up to the tip of the roots, working your way up and getting any knots out. Though Caityln's hair was rarely messy or knotty. She has always been good at keeping it healthy and neat. When you are done, you take your pin comb and take the first small section of hair into 3 pieces at the top of her head. It takes you about 15 minutes to braid her hair into a Dutch braid. It is simple, really. Twist the middle over the left and add to the 3rd strand, and repeat on the opposite side after twisting. Again. By the time you were done, Vi has woken up. Ugh, morning, she says groggily, wiping her hands over her face. She looks over at you and Caitlin, and she smiles, walking up to Kate, wrapping her arms around her chest from behind the sofa. Damn, Cupcake, you look good in a braid, she says in a flirty tone. Caitlin blushes slightly. YN did it for me, she says, standing up to give you both a kiss to the temple. They're quite the artist, she adds. This made your cheeks go red slightly. Vi chuckles at that. Don't go all shy on us now, babe. You're good at what you do. This only made you blush harder, but you took one look at Vi's messy bed hair and grabbed a detangling brush. Good, then sit down. You're next. You look like you've been through a hedge backwards, you say in a slightly teasing tone. Hey, Vi protests. They're not wrong, Caitlin says as she takes your side. Fine, I'll sit. Throwing her hands up in mock surrender, slumping onto the sofa in a grump. But she wasn't opposed to you playing with her hair. It's only fair with the amount of time she's played with yours. And then tangled it. But this time, you'll be doing the opposite for her. Caitlin went into the bathroom to look at her hair in the mirror as you start brushing through Vi's hair gently and slowly. And as always when doing Vi's hair, she did not stop fidgeting. You sigh. If you don't sit still, I'm going to have Caitlin sit on your lap. She shifted again, looking at you with a teasing face. And you look at Caitlin as she came in the room. She gives you a nod as she seats herself firmly down on Vi's lap. Victory, Vi said smugly. You and Caitlin both playfully shake your heads. And as the day goes on, everything seems right. Vi's playful nature, Caitlin's calm demeanor, no chaos, no injury-enforced girlfriends barging through the door in a panic. Just a peaceful day. And Caitlin didn't take the braid out right until she got into bed. As the day ends, as it always does, snuggled up in each other's embrace as you drift off to a restful night's sleep. Episode 9. They Get Jealous. You are outside the salon waiting to be picked up by Vi and Caitlin after work. All three of you are heading to the marketplace to pick up some supplies for your apartment. And you are outside talking to one of your colleagues about your workday when the conversation takes a light-hearted turn. And you laugh at her joke. Just in the nick of time for Vi and Caitlin to catch the tail end of your laughter. Who is this? Vi asked you firmly. You turned to look at her and Caitlin walking up behind you. Oh, Vi, Kate, this is my colleague Jane. Jane, these are my partners, Vi and Caitlin. Jane waves at them with a friendly smile on her face. It's nice to finally meet you. YN has told me about you both. It's nice to finally put a face to the name. Likewise, Caitlin replied, though her posture stiff and tense. She seems friendly. Vi speaks to you directly. You can tell where this is going, and you elbow her in the arm. How come we don't hear much about her then? She says firmly. Vi, cut it out. We're just colleagues, okay? Caitlin crosses her arms. It seems like more than that to me, she mumbles under her breath. Well, YN and I are just good friends. We work together, that's all, Jane says, trying to help ease the tension. But it doesn't seem to be working. Right, Vi responds bluntly. Well, I better be off. I've got things to do. And she scoots off before things get any more intense, and you wave her goodbye. What was that about? Vi asked. What was what about? Why are you acting like this? You place a hand on her hip. You seemed awfully friendly for just colleagues. Caityln spoke, her voice quiet, and you sigh. Seriously, that's all it was. We were just talking after work and she made a joke. That's all it was. Caityln relaxed a bit, but not by much. Vi, however, wasn't convinced. She huffed. You walk up to her. Vi, I promise that's all it was. Vi looked at you. She could see the truth in your eyes. Right. Sorry, I don't know what got into me. You smile. Same here, sweetheart. We're sorry, she says, relaxing more. It's okay, you say, still annoyed at the whole thing, and Vi can see it. I guess we got a bit, she starts, jealous, you say bluntly. No, you're ours, and we'd rather not share that smile of yours with anyone else. Caityln cuts in, walking back to you, and looking deep into your eyes. And you laugh slightly. After all, they aren't the only ones. You have definitely had your moments too, and it's only right that they get theirs. But that mostly put out of the way, Vi links her arm around yours, and you lean into her. Caityln joins in on your other side, and you start walking down to the marketplace. So, where to first? You ask. Caityln holds out the shopping list in front of her, looking at it closely. We need to pick up some vegetables first. You nod. Oh yeah, we're out of tomatoes, Vi adds. Tomatoes are a fruit, not a veg. Vi looks at you as if you had just said the most absurd thing in the world. Adding that to the list then, but yes, tomatoes are a fruit, Vi. Caityln adds. And as your conversation grows, talking about what you need to pick up and going about the marketplace, marking one thing off the list at a time, the tension from earlier starts to ease. And by the time you got home and had unpacked all the shopping, you all slump down onto the sofa, relaxing, ending the day wrapped in each other's warmth as it always does. And you feel complete. Episode 10. Caityln accidentally hurts you during an argument. You, Vi, and Caityln walk back through the door of your shared apartment. You'd just come back from a mission they had asked you to join them on. After all, you have some skills that they needed for this one. Though Joining them as an enforcer isn't your full-time gig, and the air in the room feels thick as you clutch your side. You're not bleeding, but with how hard Caityln had hit you, you might as well have been. YN, Caityln starts. Don't, you say bluntly, refusing to look at her. In fact, you walk over to the balcony, stepping outside again, closing it behind you. I'll talk to them. Wait here, Vi says gently. And Caityln just nodded, sitting on the sofa. And as you stand there looking out at the bustling streets of Piltover, below you, you hear a voice behind you. Hey, sweetheart. You all right? Vi had come up behind you, putting a hand on your shoulder. You don't speak, you just shake your head. You want to talk about it? Vi asks, not pushing. What is there to say? Vi comes to stand beside you. For one, you took a pretty hard hit back there. You look at her. I'll live. She just chuckled. You know she didn't mean to hurt you like this, right? Her voice gentle. But she did. Vi just sighs. Look, I know I messed up, but she shakes her head. Yeah, you did. But you didn't deserve a punch to the side, she says, finishing your sentence. And at the time, you had seen something that didn't quite feel right. And against Caityln's guidance, you'd gone to check it out. And it had turned into an argument. Then, well, you know what happened next. She lost her composure, words turning into balls of fists as she saw red, and punched you in the side. Her eyes widening, and yours, once you had both realized what had happened. You want to hatch this out, or do you need space? Vi asks, her voice slipping through the haze as you think. No, you didn't really want to talk to Caityln. Not right now, at least. But this couldn't go on forever. You know that much. I'll talk, you say, and she gives you a smile, taking your hand in hers and guiding you back into the room. You sit in a small chair just opposite of Caityln, still not looking directly at her, though Caityln's eyes were on you. Vi sits next to Caityln. Sweetheart? You look at her. I'm not ready to hear that, Kate. Not yet. Her eyes widen slightly, but she understands. YN, I'm sorry that our argument turned into that. It shouldn't have. You look away again. But it did. She nods. I know you're not used to that kind of work. I was only trying to protect you. She speaks gently. By hurting me? How does that work? You bite back. It doesn't. I lost control, and I hurt you in the process. I never meant to hurt you, YN. Caityln's voice is sincere as she speaks. You don't speak for a moment, thinking. Can you promise me that it won't happen again? You say quietly, looking away. Caityln stands up, walking towards you, picking your hands up in hers, and holding them. Vi watches closely, not having said much this whole time, letting you two patch things up by yourselves. YN, I would rather break my own fingers than lay another hand on you in anger. I promise this won't happen again. You look up at her for a moment, scanning her face, and you can tell that she means it. You have every faith in her. You smile slightly, nodding, and Caityln opens her arms to you. So you stand up and walk right into her embrace. I really am sorry, love, Caityln says again. I'm sorry too. I should have listened to you, you say, resting your head in the crook of her neck. I'll go get the ice. Vi says, standing up to go and grab an ice pack from the freezer. And once she returns, she places the ice pack gently on your side, then joining in on the hug. This might not have been the best of days, but they did happen. Disagreements, arguments, and fights. You get them in any relationship, romantic or not. But you can tell this won't be an argument you will have again, because you can trust each other. And this will be a lesson you will both have learned, and all three of you together will continue to grow through the good, the bad, and the messy. Episode 11. You are overstimulated. It is Saturday afternoon in Piltover. You, Caityln, and Vi decided to do something fun to take the edge off of the week. Your first stop was a hot dog stand, the flavour vibrant on your tongues. Then, you all stopped off at the bowling alley. You played at least 2 or 3 games, and Caityln was on her A game, hitting multiple strikes, using strategy and extreme focus. It's fair to say she won. The last place you visited was the cinema, and it was Vi's turn to pick a movie. And of course she chose the most action-packed one there is. And now, as the movie finishes, you get up from your seats and head back down the street, looking for one last activity before heading home. You fiddle with your fingers by your sides, shoulders tense, the long day finally catching up with you. You hear cars in the distance, the sounds of friends and family chatting in the streets, the cold wind brushing against your face. And for the first time that day, you go quiet, looking into the distance. Caityln was the first to notice. Sweetheart, are you okay? She asks you gently. You nod. Yeah, I'm fine. You respond quietly. You sure? You look a bit tense, Vi added. You nod again, and Caityln takes your hand in hers, interlocking her fingers with yours. Her touch warm and gentle. We can see that you're not, love, she says gently, and Vi walks around to your other side, putting an arm around your waist. You sigh quietly. It's just busy. Vi and Caityln both exchange a look with each other, knowing exactly what is wrong. You're overstimulated, she spoke softly, and you nod. Vi holds you closer now. How about we head home a little early? Caityln asks. I don't want to ruin the day for you. I'll be okay, honestly, you say quietly. You're not ruining anything, We all have days like it. Vi turns to look at you before taking your other hand. Are you sure? You ask, and Caityln nods. I'm getting a bit tired myself, she says. Well, it's settled then. Let's head back to the apartment. Vi says energetically, seeming like you were all in agreement. So that's exactly what you do, walking hand in hand along the streets towards your apartment complex. And when you got home, you all settled into your pajamas, as Caityln brings out a tray with 3 mugs on it with hot chocolate, placing it onto the coffee table, while Vi fiddles with the record player, trying to find the perfect music to end the day. You leant back into the sofa, a little quieter than usual, still a little tense. And as Caityln sits down beside you, passing you a mug and resting her head on your shoulder and a hand on your thigh, Vi joins you both, grabbing a mug for herself and sitting down, nestling into your side as well. And as you sit there, wrapped in their warmth and embrace, with hot drinks in hand, you feel yourself start to ease up a bit. You all sit there for a while. No one speaks, so no one needed to. This moment was just right. As you finish your drink, placing it onto the coffee table, settling back down with them again. You rest your head on Vi's shoulder, your eyes slowly flickering shut, your breathing slow and steady. And Vi's hand makes its way to your hair, moving in slow, soothing motions, as Caityln plants a kiss to your forehead. Good night, love, she whispers gently into your ear as you slowly drift off to sleep. And as she settles into you both, wrapping an arm around your shoulders, it might have been a long day, but a fun one. And with those two by your side, you know that any day with them, busy or not, will always end up embraced in each other's warmth. Episode 12. They See You Flinch. You are busy in the kitchen, washing the dishes. You have your headphones on listening to your favourite songs, cleaning one plate at a time, and then loading them onto the drying rack. Passing time while waiting for Caityln and Vi to get off of work. Their schedules are always full, though with them both being enforcers, you are used to it at this point. But you do miss them throughout the day. After loading another plate onto the drying rack, you feel someone touch your back, and you freeze in place, flinching slightly. You, of course, didn't mean to. You know it's probably either Vi or Caityln trying to get your attention. But you're still frozen in place, unable to move, until you see a face pop around in front of you. And as you thought, it is Vi. She gently pulls your headphones down to rest on your shoulders, giving you a concerned look. Hey, sweetheart. You doing okay? Her voice soft and gentle, her hand resting on your shoulder. You nod. Yeah, I am. You just made me jump, that's all. You say, brushing it off and drying your hands. That was more than a jump scare, love. You flinched, Caityln adds, walking up to you and Vi. You turn to face them, back against the counter. Really? It's fine. I'm fine. You continue dismissing the obvious. Babe, you know you can talk to us. Does this happen often? Vi asks you, looking into your eyes. And you know she isn't going to let this one go. Neither of them are. Sometimes, but not often, you finally admit. Oh, sweetheart, Caityln says empathetically, as she comes up to you, grabbing your hand. Why didn't you tell us? She asks. You think for a moment before answering. It's nothing important. Not anymore, at least. You dismiss. Again. YN, it's important to us. We're your partners, and we want to help you. What's got you feeling like this? Vi asks. You know what my father was like with me. It's become a habit, a defense. I don't know. Caityln takes your hand. Why didn't you tell us sooner? If we knew sooner, we could have helped you, or at least, at the very least, avoid the things that trigger you. You think for a moment again. I just didn't think it was important, you say softly. It's important to us, YN. We want you to feel safe, Vi says in a firm but sincere manner. Gently placing a hand on your shoulder, her soft blue eyes searching your face. I do feel safe. It hasn't happened in a while. You just startled me, that's all. You respond. Caityln grips your hand a little tighter. Next time, please, tell us if something is bothering you, sweetheart. We only want what's best for you, she says gently, and you nod as they pull you into a tight hug. I'll finish the dishes. You go sit down and rest for a minute, she continues, and before you could object, Vi takes your hand, guiding you over to the sofa and gently pulling you down to sit. You shake your head with a smug look on your face as you rest your head against Vi's chest, her hand immediately moving into your hair, like it always does, gently planting a kiss to the top of your head. And after about 5 minutes, Caityln sits down to join you, settling in on your other side, head rested against your shoulder. Today, you learned a valuable lesson. Sharing even the smallest of things that make you flinch, that trigger you, is worth mentioning to the ones you love most, so they can help you in the long run. After all, they love you for who you are, the good, the bad, and the messy. And that's all that really matters. Love, trust, and companionship. Episode 13. They walk in on you singing. You are in the shower, washing your hair, your music blasting from your phone resting on the sink cupboard, singing the best song ever, in your personal opinion. But you are completely oblivious to the front door of the apartment opening as you sing along to your favourite tune. As Caityln and Vi walk in, they hear a beautiful melody, one they recognise. But instead of the voice that would normally go with the rhythm, it's your voice. angelic, calming, and so harmonious. They stand next to the door of the bathroom, listening for only a second before Caityln joins in. Your voices blending in the most amazing way. You pause, stunned by the sudden duet. "Hey, who turned off the music?" Vi says cheekily. "I was listening to that," she added. You turn off the running taps and the music stops. "Sorry, I didn't realize you were home," you say as you wrap a towel around yourself. "Nonsense, sweetheart. I'd like to hear you sing more often," Caityln says. You chuckle. "I'm not that good. I bet your ears are bleeding." "I disagree," Caityln says lovingly. "I agree with Kate. You should sing more often, sweetheart," Vi adds, as you blush behind the door, as you finish getting changed and walk out to meet them both. "So," Vi starts, "when can we hear you sing again?" she says, smiling at you, with nothing but admiration in her eyes. "Never," you say, blushing slightly. "That was so embarrassing," you say as you sit down with them. "I, for one, thought it was quite sweet, actually," Caityln says, also smiling at you. "No," you chuckle. "Oh, come on, just one song. We'll join in," Vi continues to hint, as you think for a moment. "Only if you join in," you say, finally admitting defeat. "Deal," Vi says excitedly, as Caityln hits play once again on your music app. And none of you can hold back as the music starts to play. The atmosphere light, and fun fills the air. And it turned out to be more than just one song, more like a full-on concert. And you may be enjoying yourselves a little too much, as you hear the neighbour below you, on the apartment below yours, hit the floor with something. And you all went quiet, before laughing hysterically. And although your sing-along was interrupted, you didn't have to turn off the music. And for the rest of the night, all three of you just chilled in the apartment, listening to music and exchanging stories about your days. Warm drinks in your hands. And then it was time for bed, snuggled up in each other's embrace. And one day, as Vi and Caityln returned home once again, they heard you singing in the shower. However, this time, they did not interrupt. They sat quietly in the living room, listening to the soft melody of your voice. And that odd occasion of hearing you sing in the shower as they came home became a few times a week, then almost daily. And then every single day, without fail. It quickly became one of their favourite parts of the day. But somehow, you were still always surprised when you step out of the bathroom and see them smiling at you. Sometimes they would sing along, but most of the time they just enjoyed the show. Your voice being one of the many things they appreciated. No, loved about you. Episode 14. They Make You Cry. You stand before Caityln and Vi in your shared apartment, the air thick with tension. Vi is leant up against the kitchen counter, while Caityln is sat at the table, one leg crossed over the other. And you stood on the other side of the room, hands in your jean pockets. Caityln is the first to speak. YN, why didn't you tell us? Why didn't you call for us? We could have helped you, she says firmly. Because I can handle my own, okay? I'm not weak, you protest. Oh yeah? Coming home with 1,000,000 cuts and bruises is handling your own? Vi questions. Just because I got myself a little roughed up doesn't mean I can't defend myself. I won, you state. We know you can, YN. But it doesn't mean you don't need backup. You think me and Vi do it alone? Caityln adds. I can handle myself. I'm not fragile. I had it handled. You say, trying to defend yourself. We're not saying that, YN. What we're saying is, you're a hairdresser, not a fighter. We want you to be careful, Vi continues, trying to make you see her and Caityln's side of the argument. I can fight. Are you forgetting where I came from? Where we came from, Vi? I wouldn't be standing here otherwise. And as you stand there trying to back yourself up, Caityln pinches the bridge of her nose. We know you can, YN. But do you think Vi did alone? Do you? She says. Because I didn't, Vi adds. I know, you just what? Thought you could take on a 1v5? That's just stupid, she points out. I won, so yeah, I did, you respond bluntly. Barely, I'd say. You come home bruised and bloodied? What were you thinking? You should have called for us, Vi announces. And Caityln gives her a stern look at her raised voice, but takes her side. Vi's right. You should have come to us, YN. And you shrink, the weight of both of their words weighing down on you. You know they're right, but you want them to at least see your side of it all. But it seems this is more of just a one-sided conversation. I'm sorry, I just didn't want to burden you. You're busy enough as it is, right? As you said, I'm just a hairdresser that can't defend themselves. That's all I'm good for. And the room goes quiet, the air heavy in your lungs. Sweetheart, Caityln starts. Her voice softer now. Both hers and Vi's eyes widen in shock. No, you've said enough. And you turn away from them, wiping a tear from your cheek. Oh no, Vi mumbles under her breath, and you feel her arms wrap around your waist from behind, her chin resting on your shoulder. I'm sorry, babe, she says, her breath warm against your neck. No, you're right. I was just too stubborn to admit it, you say, your voice quiet. No, don't start that. I shouldn't have yelled at you, or even said that. You're a great fighter, YN. But we worry about you, she says gently. We just don't want to lose you, love. You mean the world to us, Caityln adds. And as you turn to face them, they both cup your face in their hands. I'm sorry for making you worry, you say softly. We're sorry too, sweetheart, Caityln says before planting a kiss to your forehead. Now, let's get those scrapes bandaged up. They look painful, she continues, before walking to get the first aid kit. But you did kick their asses, yeah? Vi asks. Yeah, you respond as Vi ruffles your hair. glad to hear it. And once again, you found yourself learning another lesson. Well, maybe a few. 1. You don't have to take on the world alone. Everyone needs some help now and again. 2. Your loved ones, your partners, are always there for you, and you can always count on that. And 3, no matter how many arguments you have, you'll always make up in the end. Episode 15. They see your scars. You, Caityln, and Vi are at the shopping centre. They both wanted to get you some new clothes for your wardrobe for the summer. And Caityln insisted that your current wardrobe would be far too warm for the temperatures ahead. You stare at yourself in the changing room mirror, at the scars lingering across your arms and your shoulders, and your legs visible from the shorts and tank top. Fights you've never won. Fights you've risked everything to survive. From your younger years, the vulnerability of them, and in public no less, made you want to scream as you stand there. You hear a voice from behind the curtain. "Hey babe, you done yet?" You hesitate. "Almost," you say quietly. And Caityln can sense the uneasiness in your voice. "Take your time, sweetheart." And you know there's no avoiding this. You had to come out of there at some point. You take a deep breath, then open the curtain, walking out to them, holding your arm to your side with the other. Their eyes sparkled for only a moment seeing you in the outfit, and then turned to concern at the tense stance and your posture you display. "Sweetheart, are you all right?" Caityln asked in a gentle, hard tone. And you don't say anything. You just stand there. "Babe," Vi says, concerned, walking up to you, putting a hand on your shoulder. I don't feel comfortable in this. I don't." Your voice catches in your throat. "You don't what, love?" Caityln asks in a sincere tone. I don't feel comfortable showing my scars. Especially not here," you say, your voice shakes. Caityln and Vi exchange a look with each other, before immediately taking your hands and walking you back into the changing room, pulling the curtain closed behind you. And Vi throws her jacket over your shoulders to make you feel a bit more safer. "Sweetheart, why didn't you tell us before?" Caityln asks, her voice still soft and gentle. You both seemed so happy. I didn't want to ruin that," you say quietly. "Your comfort comes first, Ryan. If you don't want to reveal this much, you should have told us," she continues. "We can pick out something different," Vi adds. "But," she trails off a bit, "to me, to us, your scars are cool as hell. 1, they look badass, and 2, it shows you're still here. after all the fights you've faced," she says, trailing a thumb over one of the scars along your arms, her touch gentle and warm, and you find yourself smiling at their love, their support. "You think so?" you ask. "I know so," she confirms. "We've all got scars, Wyan." Caityln starts. Some visible, some not. But they show a story that isn't over. She says gently, resting a hand on your shoulder. "If you're not comfortable showing them, we won't force you. We want you to feel comfortable, to feel safe. But just know, I think they're kind of hot," Vi states with a smile. "We both do," Caityln says, her cheeks turning into just the faintest shade of red. And a few hours later you return back home to your shared apartment, shopping bags in tow, with some cooler clothes for the summer, but won't reveal your scars too much to make you uncomfortable. But you did still decide on buying that tank top, just for indoors, because the look on Caitlin's and Vi's face when they saw you in it made the offer too hard to pass up on. The part of you that no one used to see, now exclusively to their eyes only. And that was special for both you and them. Episode 16. Vi has a nightmare. You, Caityln, and Vi are sound asleep on your comfy mattress. Well, that is until you feel and hear something stir beside you. It's Vi. At first, you thought she's just shifting in her sleep. Subtle, quiet. But that doesn't last long, as her breathing becomes harsher, faster, heavier, her movements becoming more desperate, more defensive. She is having a nightmare. "Kate, Kate," you whisper to Caityln on the other side of you, nudging her slightly. "Wyan, what time is it? What's going on?" she says, wiping her eyes. It's Vi. I think she's having a nightmare," you say quietly. Caitlin's sleepy demeanor instantly shifts to a more awake one, sitting upright and looking at Vi next to you. She pushes the covers aside and kneels beside Vi on the other side of the bed, resting a hand on her arm. "Violet, love," Caityln says, trying to wake her up from her panicked state. It doesn't work. You say, trying to help. And she jolts up, her hands coming up to her face. "Vi, it's us. You're safe," you say, rubbing her back, your hand moving in soothing, slow motions up and down her back. Her breathing is rapid and shallow. "Vi, love, it's okay. We're here," Caityln says calmly, her hand moving to her shoulder. I'm okay. I'm okay. Her voice is shaky and quiet. Anything but okay. You wrap your arms around her in a tight embrace, letting her feel the safety and warmth, and Caityln follows suit. And eventually, her breathing evens out, and she relaxes into both of you. Do you want to talk about it? Caityln asks. Not really, she answers. Is there anything we can do to help you? You add. This is good, she says quietly, and you hold her tighter. As she rests her head on your shoulder. Move over a little, Caityln says to the both of you, and you both comply as she moves closer, now properly sat on the bed with the both of you. You all sit there for a little while, in quiet, just holding her, supporting her, letting her come back to reality before she speaks. I want to talk about it. You look up to her. Okay, what's going on in that head of yours? You say softly. Remember when I told you what happened when I was 15? She began. Yes, we do, Caityln answered. Well, as Vi tells you about her nightmare, and you and Caityln find yourselves wiping tears from your eyes listening to her story of what happened, you sit there supporting her through it all, listening, comforting, holding her. And when she was done and had calmed down, you and Caityln gently guided her back down to the soft mattress, pulling the covers up snug around her, wiping some loose strands of hair from her eyes. You settle down into her side, and Caityln on the other. What happens if it happens again? Vi asks. Then we'll be right here next to you the whole time, you say softly. And we'll be right here when you wake up, Caityln adds. You grab her hand, interlocking your fingers together, gently tracing your thumb over her knuckles in slow, soothing motions. And after a few minutes, Vi's exhaustion finally catches up to her, her eyes growing heavy and eventually closing, her breathing now slow and steady once again. And neither you or Caityln fall asleep yourselves until you were positive that Vi had fallen asleep first. Your hand still holding hers. You eventually close your eyes as well, falling into a deep sleep as your breathing somehow in sync with both Vi and Caityln's. The night goes on, and Vi didn't wake up again. In fact, she slept in most of the morning. But you and Caityln kept your promise, not leaving her side for 1 second. Episode 17. They are gone on a work call. Caitlin and Vi have been on a voyage to Ionia for a week now. A last-minute call. They left in quite the hurry, giving you a quick kiss on the cheek as they quite literally ran out the door. They didn't have any time to tell you what had happened, so you were left to worry about them while they are gone. It will only be a few days, you tell yourself. Time will fly by. I'll give this place a quick clean, you continue. So that's exactly what you do in between your work hours at the salon. You clean the apartment, starting with the kitchen, mopping and buffing the floor tiles, shining the marble countertop, deep cleaning the oven, microwave and dishwasher, organising the kitchen cabinets as well. The living room area, grabbing the carpet cleaner for once in a blue moon and pulling up all the old stains. Having a good go at the sofa as well as packing away the stuff that all three of you just threw onto the random stuffed chair when you were too tired to pack it away. So that's where my watch went, you laughed to yourself, fixing that old broken shelf on the bookcase, and so on. By the time you were done at the end of the week, the apartment was sparkling and ready for Caitlin and Vi to come home. Any time now they'll walk right through that door. Any time now. Nothing. Well, you might as well read that Road Trip with a Vampire series Caitlin has been non-stop talking about while you have time on your hands. Book 1 took 2 days, Book 2 took 3 days, and Book 3 doesn't come out until October. Ugh. Link in description. What was that? It's just my imagination. You walk outside to the balcony, looking up at the sky, just hoping you'd see an airship coming back with them on it. Yet again, nothing. It's been almost 2 weeks now. They'll be back soon enough. What to do now? I guess I could train until they come back? Vi had been teaching you some hand-to-hand combat, just for when you join them on any unexpected shenanigans. And Caitlin took you down to the old shooting range a few times. Your aim just keeps getting better. Training was distracting for a while, focusing really hard on getting it right. You can't wait to show them your improved and new skills when they get back. And just like that, 3 weeks had passed, and you were starting to get worried. They'll be back in no time at all, you continued to yourself. Just a little longer. And this time, you were right, as when you finally got home from work on a random Wednesday a month after they had left you, you walk through the door looking at Caitlin's and Vi's faces as they scan the apartment. This is too clean. What have you done with my partner? Caitlin jokes. You're back! You rush over to them in no time at all, almost knocking them off their feet. Miss us? Vi teases as she wraps her arms around you. That's an understatement. You had me worried. Your head sinking into her shoulder. Well, we're back now, love. In one piece. Caitlin says, joining the embrace from behind. Thank God. What happened? You ask, and Vi steps back. Someone in Ionia thinks they spotted Jinx and reported it to the council. That reported it to our council. That reported it back to us. Vi says, Wait, your sister? You mean the one that died? Vi nods. We thought so, but turns out after a little investigation that Jinx has been travelling since the war against Victor. And we traced her back here, though we still have no clue where she is. Caitlin responds. Whoa. Okay then, well, what happens now? You continue. We don't want to scare her off. We wait and see if she shows, Vi says. And if she doesn't? You ask again. Then we'll find her. But we'll give her time first. And now with this new information in mind, you wonder what is yet to come in the future. We'll just have to wait and see. Episode 18. Caityln has a nightmare. It's around 3 a.m. in the morning, and something is missing. No, someone is missing. You look beside you, and Caityln, who was sleeping beside you when you went to bed, isn't there anymore. You look to your other side, and Vi is still sleeping soundly next to you. If you and Vi are both still in bed, why is Caityln awake? Something isn't right. You get out of bed carefully, deciding that it's not the best bet to wake Vi up just yet, at least until you know what's going on. You quietly exit the bedroom and walk into the living room area. You see Caityln quietly sat on the sofa, playing with the ends of her hair and her fingers thoughtfully. You come to sit beside her, careful not to startle her. "Hey," you say softly. Caityln looks up at you sleepily. "Sweetheart, what are you doing up?" she asks. "I could ask you the same thing. I woke up and you weren't there," you respond. She looks to her knees for a second before looking back up at you. "Couldn't sleep." Her voice is quiet and tired sounding. "Kate, talk to me. What's going on?" She doesn't respond, so you gently place a hand on her shoulder. She looks directly in front of her for just a moment. "I had a nightmare." Her voice is hesitant. "Why didn't you wake us?" A voice comes from behind, dressed in Caityln's dressing gown, a little sleepy-eyed. "I didn't want to wake you," she replies. You shake your head. "Kate, if something's bothering you, we want to know. Even at 3 a.m. in the morning," you say firmly, but softly. "Want to talk about it?" Vi adds. "There's not much to talk about, really. I can't remember what it was about. I just remember waking up feeling panicked," Caityln states. "And how do you feel now?" you ask with concern. "Better. I'm just struggling to settle down again. That's all," she says. "Well, no time like the present. Let's get you back in bed," Vi replies. "Nothing is more relaxing than a nice warm mattress." You continue. Caityln looks at you both for just a moment before slowly nodding. "All right, I'll try." And you stand up, offering her your hand. She takes it, as you lead her back into your bedroom. All three of you pile back into bed, covering yourselves over with the blankets. And just to make sure Caityln is 100% comfortable, you find yourself resting your head gently on her chest. You're not sure if you're trying to relax yourself or her, as you feel the soft rise and fall of her breathing. Caityln places her hands gently on top of your hair as she hums a content sigh. Vi, not one to be left out, settles in on Caitlyn's other side, resting her head in the crook of Caitlyn's neck, laying her arm over both you and Caitlyn. Caitlyn lets out a slow, content sigh as she pulls you both in, feeling your warm embraces against her. You can feel her body relaxing and slowly releasing tension beneath you, her eyes drifting closed. "Good night, Kate." "Night, Vi," you say, your voice calm and soothing, as you find yourself relaxing in their arms. "Good night, YN," Caitlyn responds, gently caressing your hair. "Night, babe," Vi says, pulling you and Caitlyn in just a little closer. Now, all three of you have your eyes closed as you focus on each other's breathing, slowly drifting off into a peaceful sleep, tangled in each other's love, warmth, and compassion as the night goes on. As dusk turns to dawn, the sun rises. You and Vi were up with the sun, while Caitlyn still lays peacefully in bed. And by 8 a.m, you walk into the bedroom holding a hot mug of Caitlyn's favourite herbal tea, as Vi carries in a tray with breakfast on it for Caitlyn. "Hey, sleepyhead, we brought you breakfast," Vi says, her voice chipper. "Did you sleep okay?" you ask, your voice empathetic towards her from her rough night's sleep. Caitlyn's eyes flicker open once more, her hair a little messy and her eyes a little drowsy, as she looks at you both with love and compassion in her eyes. "Yes, I did in the end. Thank you both," she says slowly, sitting up as you pass her the mug, and Vi carefully places a tray on her lap. "That's what we're here for, Cupcake," Vi says confidently, as she sits down on the end of the bed. "Plus, you do the same for us. If we were in your position, and you have several times," you add, your voice filled with gratitude, "and we're grateful for it." "Just repaying the favour," Vi continues, as you join her and Caitlyn on the bed. As the day went on, Caitlyn was understandably a little tired still from the night before, but you and Violet, by her side, made the day just a little more bearable. Episode 19. They walk in on you changing. It's early in the morning. You're in your bedroom getting changed for the day, and as you pull off your top, you hear the door crack open, and you immediately hold your arms over your chest before turning around to see Vi stood there, her eyes wide with an almost twinkle in them. And Caitlyn stood not too far behind her with a similar but more subtle look on her face. "Do you mind?" you say timidly. "You look good, babe," Vi says confidently. "I'm trying to change," you say, holding yourself a little tighter. "Vi, maybe we should give them some privacy. But I will say, Vi's not wrong, sweetheart. You look..." Vi cuts her off at her hesitation. "Hot?" she asks. "Rather attractive." This makes you blush. "Can you stop? I just want to change," You say a little louder this time. I'm not stopping you, Vi says. Violet! Caitlin warns. You can tell they're uncomfortable. Caitlin says, having the decency to look away. Fine. I'm just admiring my partner, she says. But not moving, still looking at you. Can you do that when I'm fully clothed? You say bluntly, and Caitlin grabs Vi's wrist, pulling her out of the doorway. We'll see you in a bit, love, she says lovingly, looking back at you, catching one last look. Don't take too long, Vi says, just before you grab a pillow, throwing it at the door, and she closes the door just before it can hit her, landing on the floor instead. She laughs a little on her way out. Your cheeks are now flushed bright red as you stand there regaining your composure before you turn to get the rest of your clothes. A few minutes later, you walk out of the bedroom and into the kitchen as you turn on the kettle. Vi coming up behind you, wrapping her arms around your waist. Good morning, sweetheart, she says lovingly, as she rests her head on your shoulders. Morning, Vi, you say as you turn to face her, and she pulls you in closer, landing a kiss to your lips. Caitlin soon joining you both as she does the same. You look good, Caitlin says. Thanks, Kate, you say lovingly. They looked even better when... Vi starts, but when Caitlin gently elbows her in her side. Okay, I'll stop, she says, defeated. But you did look good, though. You chuckle slightly. Thanks, Vi. I'm just not comfortable showing all that yet, but I appreciate it. And Vi gives you a smug smile. Whenever you are ready, love, Caitlin says gently, wiping some loose hair from behind your ear. After all, you'd only been together officially for about 8 months now. For you, it just wasn't the right time. I'm surprised something like this didn't happen sooner, though, considering we lived together, Vi says, chuckling. I can't disagree with you there. You shake your head, playfully, before returning their kisses. And you turn to pour your coffee as the kettle finishes boiling. Caitlin passes you the coffee pot, and you put in a teaspoon full of it into your mug. Vi, you can let go now. I'm pouring hot water. And she lets go, pouting as you pour the water into your mug. And a few minutes later you find yourself nestled between them, mug in hand, the atmosphere light as you chat amongst yourselves. Though this morning may have been a little awkward and definitely way out of your comfort zone, you still can't forget the looks on Caitlin's and Vi's faces as you sit there. The way their eyes widened and softened as they saw you. The smiles on their faces. How Caitlin's cheeks were bright red, and how it didn't make you and it didn't make you ready for all that. Not just yet, anyway. It definitely makes you feel more confident in your appearance. They had a way of doing that, making you smile when they enter a room, the way they make you laugh when you're bored, and the way they cheer you up when you're down. Your partners, your reason to smile, to get up in the mornings when you really couldn't be bothered to. And you realised you wouldn't trade this life for any other. Episode 20. You Have a Nightmare. 5 episodes remaining. You pull on your jacket as tears roll down your face. I'm sorry things had to be this way, Ryan, Caitlin says as you make your way to the door. It's for the best, Vi adds, as you pick up your duffel bag full of clothes. As you leave, you shut the door behind you. As you walk, you begin to cry. How did this happen? Why were they leaving you? Ryan. Why did they make you leave the apartment when you had nowhere to go? When they know you have nowhere to go? Sweetheart, wake up. Come on, love, wake up. Caitlin's voice cuts through the haze as she gently shakes you awake, as your body launches upright. Hey, easy there, babe. It was just a dream, Vi says, pulling you back to her, as she wraps her arms around you, holding you close. She wipes the tears from your face, but somehow this makes you cry more. Caitlin comes in on your other side, also wrapping her arms around you. Bad dream, huh? Caitlin asks. You just nod. What was it about? She continues, and you don't respond. It's okay, sweetheart. You can tell us, Vi says, while gently rubbing soothing motions on your arm. You hesitate. You broke up with me? You say hesitantly and quietly, but they both heard you. This only made them pull you in closer. Well, I think Nightmare Me is stupid, Vi says, full of passion. I second that. Nightmare Caitlin as well, Caitlin adds. Would never leave you for anything, Ryan. She continues as she gently wipes your tears from your eyes. It felt so real, you say timidly. But it wasn't, and we're still here, right by your side. We still love you, babe, Vi reassures you. And we always will, Caitlin adds, as they continue to hold you in their arms, and Vi wipes some loose strands of hair away from your eyes. We're here, sweetheart. We're not going anywhere, Caitlin continues to reassure you, as she kisses your cheek, and Vi does the same, continuing to rub your back, your shoulders, in soothing, slow motions, as you gradually calm down. I'm sorry, you say quietly. You have nothing to be sorry for, love, Caitlin says. Yeah, you said it yourself. Nightmares can feel freakishly real sometimes. But we've got you, all right? Vi adds. You nod sheepishly as your tears start to subside as you relax into their embrace. They continue to hold you for a while as you calm down from your night terror, to reassure you that they're not leaving you anytime soon. And as you finally find yourself relaxing fully into their arms, and your tears fully pass now, all three of you find yourselves enjoying this moment together. Just encased in each other's love and embrace, they kiss your cheeks, and once on the lips, just in case there was still any doubt in your mind. And they just really wanted to kiss you as well. Now that you're finally settled again, Vi gently leads you into laying down once more, as Caitlin joins you and Vi nestling back into your side. And you rest your head against Caitlin's chest, as they both continue to hold you, and your eyelids flicker closed, your breathing evening out again. Your once tense shoulders finally fully relax as you sink into them. Oh, and if Nightmare Us try anything funny again, I'll fight 'em, Vi says confidently. You'd fight my nightmares for me? Your voice is filled with curiosity. Vi nods. And I'll back her up, of course, Caityln adds, as she gently plays with your hair. And after a few minutes, you all manage to fall back to sleep, without any nightmares this time. Episode 21. Vi gets injured on a mission. You were walking home after a long shift at the salon. You have your key on you today, because before you left for work, Caityln had informed you of an upcoming mission they'd be on that evening, and wouldn't be home until late. As you walk through the streets, you hear a loud pounding sound, rushed footsteps, and the sounds of gunfire. You just hope that isn't the mission Caityln had told you about this morning, because it wasn't sounding good at all. Please be safe, you say to yourself as your pace quickens, trying to avoid the chaos of the fight, remembering Vi's words from earlier. This battle is going to get messy, YN. If you hear it, or any fight at all, don't walk, run home. Get as far away from it as you can, okay? She had told you. One hand on your shoulder. Your hands clasp tighter around the edges of your open jacket as you walk past an alleyway. Normally, you would just walk past it. But this time, something catches the corner of your eye. The hues of red and pink. A figure slumped up against the alleyway wall on the floor. Vi. No, it can't be. But as you get closer, you realize you're not mistaken. Vi! You call out panicked, rushing to her side, kneeling down beside her. YN, you shouldn't be here, she says firmly through her coughs. You look down to her wounded side. You waste no time in applying pressure to the laceration. No, I shouldn't. But you're injured. You're my partner. I'm not just leaving you to bleed out. You say firmly. Does Kate know where you are? You continue. She shakes her head, no. Vi, I heard YN. Are they... Caityln says as she had followed the sound of your voice from earlier. YN, what happened? Caityln asks, panicked. I don't know. I was walking home and I found her like this. You turn your head to face Caityln as she hurries to Vi's side. But this time she asks Vi directly. What happened, Vi? She asks firmly. I was attacked from behind. I didn't see. She starts before she lets out another chesty cough. That's it. I'm getting you home, you say with confidence. YN, I can do this. You need to get to safety. Vi continues, her voice strained. YN is right, Vi. You can barely stand, yet alone fight in this condition. Sweetheart, take her back to the apartment. You know where the first aid kit is. Caityln instructs. You're not coming? You asked with concern. No. I have to stay on the ground. I'll catch up when we're done. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. Just get her home. She reassures you. Guys, I'm fine. Vi starts before she passes out. No, you're not, you say in a whisper without hesitation. Caityln pulls Vi into her arms, and once you are both standing, she passes her to you. Get her home. Now, run, but be careful. I'll be with you soon, she instructs again. Just like the true commander she is. You nod as you turn away. Be safe, Kate, you say as you take off, and Caityln turns back to the front line. You carefully cradle Vi in your arms, running through the streets of Piltover. You make it to your apartment complex. You spot someone walking in at the same time as you. Hey! She's injured. I need you to open some doors for me. You call out. The lady nods, holding up the door for you. Another obstacle lies in your way as you spot people getting into the lift. But the lady has you covered. Hey, we need this lift clear. This lady is injured. Please move, the lady instructed. And the people look at you for just a moment before filing out the lift. What floor? The lady asks. 3, you reply, and she hits the button. I'm a doctor. If you would have my help, I'd be willing to assist you once you're inside, the lady says. No wonder she was so quick to help. You nod. What's your name, Doc? You ask. Call me April, she says, as the lift goes up to the 3rd floor. Once you reach your stop, you burst out of the lift, leading the way to the apartment. Keys? April asks. No time, you say as you lift your foot and kick the door in. Wouldn't be the first time. You rush inside and lay Vi out on the sofa as you clear the way for April, who immediately takes out some medical equipment out of her bag. A few minutes later, April had finished patching Vi up. All done. It doesn't look too bad. The pass out must have been from the decline in adrenaline, she says. She'll wake up soon. Thank you, April, you say as April leaves. She gives you a smile before pulling the broken door together on the way out. You gently scoop Vi back into your arms and take her to the bedroom, laying her on the soft mattress. Your fingers find their way into her hair as she slowly opens her eyes. Hey, sweetheart, she says sleepily. Go back to sleep, Vi. You need rest, you say gently, as Caityln finally made her way back to join you both, sitting beside Vi on the other side of the bed. Episode 22. You're sick overnight. It's the middle of the night. You're hot and sweaty, and your stomach has that dropping sensation. Your head throbs as Caityln sits up next to you. Darling, is everything all right? She asks. You shake your head. I don't think I'm gonna make it to the bathroom, Kate, you say in a strained voice. At that, she instantly shakes Vi awake, and before Vi could even ask what was wrong, Vi, go get the bucket, quickly. Her voice was firm and instructive. Vi nods instantly, throwing the covers off of her and running out of the room. As Caityln gently rubs your back. Hold it in a little longer, love. Vi will be back soon. And just as you were about to give way, right on cue, Vi comes running back in and passes you the bucket. Caityln already holding your hair back just in the nick of time as you throw up. Vi sits down beside you on the bed, rubbing your shoulder in slow, soothing motions. "Take it easy, babe. Take it easy." Her voice soft and caring as she continues to keep a hand on your shoulder, and Caityln keeping your hair back. It takes a few minutes, but you finally finish being sick. Caityln gets out of bed and heads into the bathroom, pulling out a large towel and laying it on the side of the bed, then taking the bucket outside, throwing out the sick and rinsing it out. Before coming back inside and laying it just on top of the towel, getting back into bed and joining you and Vi. "Are you feeling okay, YN?" Caityln asks. You shake your head slowly as Vi gently guides you back down to the soft mattress. "Do you know what might have caused this?" Vi asks. "No, I don't think so," you say quietly. Caityln thinks for a moment. "Must be a stomach bug. Just try and rest up for a couple of days," she says, as gently as she can, brushing some stray hair out of your face. You nod, but groan slightly, feeling uncomfortable and a little warm. "Do you want the fan on tonight, sweetheart?" Vi asks in a caring manner. She can feel the heat radiating off of you. "Yeah," you say, agreeing, and Vi doesn't hesitate to switch it on. "Better?" she asks. "Yeah, thanks, Vi." "No problem, sweetheart," she answers, kissing your forehead, and you give her a look. Yeah, you're ill. I get it. That doesn't stop me from loving you." Her voice gentle yet firm. "It doesn't stop you from getting sick as well, Vi," Caityln points out. And Vi just rolls her eyes at that. "She's not wrong, Vi." You agree. Her only response a huff of annoyance, followed by a fine, that makes both you and Caityln chuckle. Before long, they had you situated again, making sure you were comfortable. You did bring up the idea of sleeping in the spare room so they wouldn't get sick, but they both quickly dismissed the idea. Even though you were unwell, they still wanted to be as close as they could to you, so they could comfort you and help you through your sickness. And just as Caityln had expected, it turned out just to be a stomach bug, clearing up in just a couple of days, feeling as bright as rain afterwards. They were so supportive and caring through it all, and you couldn't help but appreciate all they do for you. Episode 23, Jinx is back. Before we get started, I want to say a massive thank you to Patch.hat.productions for starring as Jinx in this episode, and you can find the link to their social media in the description down below. We hope you enjoy this episode. It's been 6 weeks since Vi and Caityln came back from their mission and found out that Jinx, Vi's sister, is still alive. And yourself, Vi, and Caityln are taking a trip down to Piltover Marketplace to grab some food for the cabinets, when Caityln spots something in the corner of her eye. "Hey, guys," she starts. You take your eyes off of the vegetable stand to look over at her. "What's up, Kate?" you ask. "Over there," she says, as you look over to the alleyway in the corner where she is pointing. Jinx, Vi says quietly. That's Jinx? You ask. Vi nods. Yep, that's my baby sis, all right, she says with a hint of melancholy in her voice. Then let's go get her back, Caityln says, but Vi is already making a move to the alley. You follow closely behind her as you get closer. You can see Jinx sat on some old broken pipes tying her shoelaces on her old boots. Vi looks back at you both, and you give her a nod as she turns to walk up to her sister. Vi doesn't say anything, just slowly walks up to her, putting a hand on her shoulder from behind. Jinx flinches. Hey, Jinx, Vi says gently. She stands up abruptly, ready to make a move. Hey, sis, wait a second, please. Just talk to me for a sec. Jinx was hesitant, but agrees. Why did you leave, Jinx? Why didn't you stay? Vi asks softly.
It's complicated,
she says quietly. You didn't have to, you know. You didn't have to run. I want you back in my life, sis. I want my sister back. Vi continues, keeping her voice soft and caring.
Why? After everything that's happened between us? After everything I've done?
Jinx replies, looking away slightly. Because you're my sister, Jinx. We may have had some issues in the past, and you have made mistakes. We both have. I can tell you weren't in a good place at the time, and you needed to think. But now you're back. I want to get to know you again. To be with my sister again. Vi explains.
I'm not the girl I used to be. I'm not like Powder anymore,
she says, with a hint of regret in her voice. I know, Jinx. I know. But I've changed too. Maybe we can get to know each other again? What do you say, sis? Vi asks. Jinx thinks for a moment before nodding.
Okay, but I'm still not fully ready to come back yet. I still need time.
Vi sighs a little, but nods. That's okay, sis. But, don't go quiet on me, yeah? Let's meet up sometime. Just a sister's day. Vi says hopefully.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Jinx smiles a little now, seeming to be a little calmer, and you and Caityln slowly make your approach. And Jinx spots you both, taking a step back. It's okay, Jinx. I'm not here to fight, Caityln says gently.
And who are you?
Jinx says, looking at you. Vi smiles. Jinx, this is my other partner, YN. YN, this is my little sister Jinx, she says, introducing you both. Nice to meet you, Jinx, you say, extending a hand to her.
Other partner? Vi, you got two of these things now?
She questions, shaking your hand skeptically. Yeah, that's right, both them and Caityln, Vi confirms.
You're not some pill tea like Caityln, are you?
Jinx asks, half jokingly, but also with a seriousness to her voice. You chuckle lightly. No, I'm not. I'm from the Undercity, you say, a little nervous.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna go. See you around, Vi.
She replies, with an awkward edge to her voice. Jinx, wait a minute, Vi calls out.
Yeah?
Keep in touch? Vi calls out.
I'll keep in touch, sis.
She says, a light-hearted tone in her voice as she walks away once more. The day took an unexpected turn, for one, but not an unwelcomed one. Now you all know for certain that Jinx is alive, and all you have to wonder is what's to come in the future. Episode 24. You propose to them. This day has to be perfect. The lights, the table, the music. This needs to go off without a hitch. What if they say no? What if it all goes wrong? Some of the many thoughts running through your mind right now as you make your way to Caitlyn's and Vi's workplace, the Enforcer HQ. The receptionist pretty much has your face memorized at this point, and is fully behind the plan. He picks up the phone and calls Caitlyn's work number. Miss Kierman, would you and Vi please make your way to the front desk? You can leave early today and your girlfriend is here to pick you up. The first part of your plan. Get your girlfriends off of work early. They deserve a break. Yes, of course. We'll be there in 2 seconds. Caitlyn's voice on the other end of the line. A few minutes later, they were there. Hey babe, what's the occasion? Vi asks. Well, I thought you two deserved some time off, and I have a surprise for both of you. Come! You say excitedly. Sweetheart, where are we going? Caitlyn asks as they follow behind you. That would ruin the surprise, you say, your voice chipper, as all three of you hop into your car. Just a few minutes later, you pull into the parking lot of your favourite restaurants, especially Vi's. Oh, I fucking love this place, Vi says happily. As do I. The food is lovely and the staff is so polite, Caitlyn agrees. You smile at them as you find a table and sit down, waiting to make your orders. Phase 2 complete. Get a reservation at your favourite restaurant. This is a nice surprise. Thank you, sweetheart, Caitlyn says with appreciation. Really, babe, this is awesome. Off work early and lunch with all three of us? This is amazing. Thank you, Vi replies with love in her eyes. After ordering your food and getting settled, it wasn't long before it arrived. One of the reasons you yourself love this place so much. How quick the service is. As time flies by, your conversation grows. Laughing, smiling, chatting away. The song changes. This is your moment, YN. Don't mess it up. Stage 3 of the plan. Get the staff onto your idea and have the song that you will sing when you're in the shower play. This is our song, Vi says, as you slowly stand up from the table, taking one of each of their hands. Caitlyn, when I first met you, I had no idea it would become something this special. 2 kind strangers helping out a wounded stranger. And though that day kinda sucked ass, If it had never happened, I would have never met the loves of my life. You both mean the world to me. The way you always find a way to make us laugh, even in the dullest of times. Vi looks at you with stars in her eyes, slightly watery. And Caitlin, how you keep us both organized and somehow keep me and Vi on the ground. She holds your hand a little tighter, smiling up at you. I know that we have made so many memories, and we can make so many more, which is why I want to ask you both. You slowly begin to get down on one knee. If you would be my wives. Caitlin's eyes widen and her hands come up to her mouth as you pull out the ring box from your pocket and open it. And Vi can't stop the tears from flowing. Caitlin nods, a tear rolling down her cheek. She can barely speak, and Vi tries to form a reply, but is just as shocked. As you take the ring, slide it gently onto their fingers. As Caitlin now also kneels down on one knee in front of you and Vi, still struggling to hold back her own tears. Funny you should ask that, she says. Your eyes widen slightly as she pulls out a box herself. I was going to ask you both the same thing, she says, sniffling slightly. Your hands go to your chest and you nod. Yes. Of course we will. You and Vi both say at the same time, pulling each other up off the floor, standing up and pulling each other into a warm embrace. The others in the restaurant cheering and filming, watching this moment unfold. You went in the restaurant as partners, but you will emerge as fiancés. Episode 25, you announce your engagement. Final episode. Before we get started, I want to say a massive thank you to Patch.hat.productions for starring as Jinx in this episode, and you can find the link to their social media in the description down below. We hope you enjoy this episode. You're sat in your shared apartment with Vi and Caitlin, waiting for a guest, Jinx. After you proposed to Vi and Caitlin at the restaurant last week, you thought it would be a good idea to let Jinx know. You were watching the clock with eagle eyes. Caitlin has her eyes on the door and Vi won't stop pacing. I'm sure it will be fine, Vi. She's your sister, you say calmly. I know, but I'm still nervous, she responds before sitting down in between Caitlin and yourself. And just a moment later, there is a knock at the door, and Caitlin gets up to answer it, moving aside slightly to let Jinx in. And Vi gestures for her to sit, and she does.
So, why am I here again?
Jinx asks skeptically as Caitlin takes her seat beside you and Vi. Vi starts the conversation off. Jinx, me, Caitlin, and Mayen have something to tell you. Vi starts.
Okay, so is this a good thing or a bad thing?
She asks with curiosity. Well, it depends on how you take it. You continue.
And what's that supposed to mean?
Jinx asks, a little more invested than before. Caitlin takes a deep breath before continuing. Well, to us, it's a good thing anyway. Jinx tilts her head slightly.
Okay, so What is it?
Vi takes hold of both yours and Caitlyn's hands. Jinx, we got engaged a week ago, she explains gently, knowing that Jinx isn't really too fond of Caityln and doesn't really know you that well yet either.
Engaged? You're engaged to them?
Vi nods. Yes, YN and Kate proposed last week, Vi confirms. Jinx is silent for a moment, thinking, her face unreadable, until she smirks.
Wish I could have seen your face all blubbery, sis. Too bad I missed it.
She says with her voice smug, with a smirk on her face. Vi smiles. So, does this mean you're okay with it? Vi asks.
It's not my place to say, but I mean, whatever makes you happy, sis. I'll go with it.
She says, thinking once again before she continues.
As long as you're happy, Vi. But I'm not saying I'm ecstatic about it.
She says honestly. Vi lets out a breath she was holding and nods. Thanks, sis. It means a lot. Thank you for being supportive, Vi says with a sincere look on her face.
It's fine. But as long as they both love you as much as you love them, I don't have a problem. And I won't kill them while they're sleeping, you know.
You turn to look at Jinx. You have our word, Jinx, I promise, you say to her.
You better.
She replies, her tone firm. Caitlyn nods, agreeing, as Vi goes to speak again. I want you there on the day, sis. It would mean a lot to me. Her voice is caring and gentle as she looks at her.
I'll think about it,
she says, her voice sincere but quiet. Caitlyn nods. Take your time, Jinx. But it would mean a lot to all of us if you were there on the day. Caitlyn starts. And you nod in agreement.
Like I said, I'll think about it. I'm not promising anything, but I'll think about it.
The conversation went better than expected. She didn't seem overly happy about it, but didn't seem to be against it either. All she really wants is for Vi to be happy. And when you were done with the conversation, it shifted to other topics. Jinx did end up staying for a little while, though it took a bit of convincing. It was nice to see Vi and Jinx talking again. Nice to see them laughing again after everything they faced together. And when it was time for her to head back to her workshop, Vi and Jinx both exchanged a small but meaningful hug. And now that you and Caitlyn are marrying Vi, you hope to see more of this in the future. This concludes a Caitvi Listener Season 1. Season 2 coming very soon and is already in production. Thank you to my collaborators for working with me on this season, and I hope to see you again next season. Bye bye!